Hi friends, this is for all of our GATE students on how to make the most during this lockdown. First and foremost, a couple of things before we go into the GATE preparation itself. We hope that all of you are safe, none of you are infected, and all of you are staying indoors, taking the precautions, taking all the safety measures that the Government of India and the World Health Organization is suggesting. So please, your safety is extremely important. Nothing is more important than that. We're very happy to inform that all of our team is also safe. Ever since the first case was reported in Hyderabad, we shut down our office from the 4th of March. All of our employees, mentors, teachers, everyone have been working from home since March 4th. Again, we wanted to be extra precautious because as a small office, even if one of us gets infected, it's very easy for everyone to get infected because we discuss with each other, we work in close quarters, we have daily meetings, daily stand-ups, etc. So we wanted to be extra precautious and we've shut down from the 4th of March. It's almost been close to a month. Thankfully, we have learned to work remotely and all of our team is safe. And we hope all of our students are also safe. Your safety is the most important thing right now, right? So after this, again, a couple of simple suggestions so as to keep your sanity, keep your mind in place. Please do not overwatch the news. I'm not saying don't watch the news. Please watch the news, but limit your watching the news to once a day or twice a day. Because if you overwatch the news, if you overfollow social media, be it WhatsApp messages, messages on Facebook, TikTok, you name it, right? Please don't overwatch it. And please get your news from reliable sources, not from WhatsApp, not from Facebook and other sources. Please get it from actual journalists who are producing great quality news and from actual announcements from state governments, from local governments, from political leaders, from doctors, from scientists. Please get your news from genuine sources and please don't overwatch it, because the more you overwatch, the more you're spending your brain capacity and your time on this and more you will panic. So during this time, please don't overwatch, but watch your news from reliable sources once or twice a day. No more than that, because even if you watch from reliable sources over and over and over and over again, it will only lead you to panic. Most importantly, do not panic, because there is nothing worse than fear and panic itself, especially during a pandemic, right? So please don't panic, watch reliable sources, always take your guidelines. Again, any guidelines that the Government of India or your state governments or your local governments, your city governments, whatever they give, please follow them as strictly as possible. I cannot overemphasize this. This is extremely important. We should trust our leaders. We should trust our governments. We should trust our healthcare system. We should trust our doctors and scientists to do the right thing for us. Whatever are the guidelines, please follow them extremely strictly. I cannot emphasize this enough, right? Again, these are suggestions that we've already given to all of our employees. These are suggestions that we are following ourselves. Very importantly, during this time of lockdown, we should spend more time than normal, both to learn concepts and to practice concepts. Again, I'm not saying you should spend all your day only learning and practicing, because it's exhausting. Learning new concepts and practicing, doing problem solving can get exhausting, right? So instead of panicking, watching news for hours together, follow the guidelines that the Government of India, that your state and local governments are giving you. Follow them as strictly as possible during this lockdown and spend a good amount of time, maybe 5 to 6 hours learning and practicing, but also keep yourself occupied and entertained with some good high quality stuff. Okay, you can read a book. If you're a type of person who reads books, you can always read a few very good biographies and autobiographies. If you're a type of person who wants to watch movies, I list a few. Again, I think there are more youngsters now who are watching movies and who are watching TV shows on Netflix or Amazon Prime, etc. Right? Of course, if you are a type of book guy, please feel free to read books. My book reading has increased now. Again, I'm reading mostly technical books, but my book reading has increased now than what I would do during a non-lockdown period. So for entertainment, if you're a movie type person, here are a bunch of, I forgot the movies. Okay, so here are a bunch of movies that could be interesting. Again, these are some of our favorites, right? So our team collected some of these movies. Pursuit of Happiness is a phenomenal movie. October Sky is another very good movie. This is about how a coal miner's son wants to launch a rocket, right? And his hundreds of struggles in launching a successful rocket. Again, most of these are stories of struggle, stories of perseverance, stories of hard work, right? I think all of you know about Pursuit of Happiness. Please watch it. It's a phenomenal story of how somebody who wanted to become a stockbroker works extremely hard to reach that stage. Again, the reason we are suggesting some of these movies is because they're relevant to your pursuit of excellence, pursuit of happiness, and cracking gate, right? That's why we are suggesting some of these movies. There's also this movie called Imitation Game. This is based on the story of Alan Turing, the father of modern computing. Very nice story. Again, if you're interested in mathematics, there is this, my all-time favorite, The Beautiful Mind, about Professor John Nash, who has some fundamental contributions in economics, especially the mathematical economics and game theory, right? So there are a couple of, again, you can think of these as semi-autobiographical or based on true stories. These are movies that are based on struggle. Similarly, there are some phenomenal movies in Indian languages also. Like, for example, Lagan is a movie of a great struggle. Some of you have not watched it, please watch it. There are also some other good movies like Swades in Hindi. Again, I have a few favorites in my own mother tongue, which is Telugu, right? So I'm just giving general guidelines here. The goal here is try to have a positive mindset. Don't watch news which is extremely negative, because that will only pull you down, that will get your morale down. Try to watch movies or TV shows that will give you a good positive mindset. Again, some of you, I heard that they're retelecasting Ramayana and Mahabharata. I heard Ramayana and Mahabharata. And again, I think it is in not just in Hindi, but also in local languages. So again, these are stuff that I don't remember watching Ramayana as a kid, but I do recall watching Mahabharatam in Telugu when I was a kid, right? I mean, I think I was 4 or 5 years old then. So again, if you want to watch some great epics in Indian mythology, you can watch them on YouTube. Try to maintain a positive mindset and keep your motivation levels high, right? We are still very early in the preparation for GATE 2021. Instead of getting bogged down by negative news, keep your motivation levels high. And of course, you should not spend all your time just learning and practicing. You should occupy yourself with more interesting things. Again, as part of occupying yourself, please spend time with your family and friends. Again, with your friends, probably you can just do some video chats, or you can do some Skype chat, etc. With your family who is with you during this lockdown, try and spend time with your family members, have a good chat, talk about the good old days, right? Please spend some quality time with your friends and family, which you may not be able to spend once the lockdown is out, because you have other responsibilities like going to college, going to office, all those things. So this is, again, for many of us, again, this is something that we suggested to all of our employees also, is to spend at least a few minutes every day sitting with your mother and father or your grandparents who are along with you at your home, or those of you who have kids, spend more quality time with your kids. I think most of you don't have kids, but at least try to spend more quality time with your brothers, sisters, parents, and anybody who is staying along with you. Okay, but don't travel to visit anyone. Stay at home. You can always do video calls and things like that, right? So that's important, right? Now let's go into learning and practicing for GATE. Since we are in a lockdown period, I would recommend to spend about 5 to 6 hours a day, because you don't have anything else to do. Instead of watching negative news, it is better to spend time learning the concepts, because this is something that will help you in the long run, right? First and foremost, I want you to watch this video that we have on our YouTube channel called Learning Strategies to Score 50 plus marks in GATE. Again, this is a video that we did last year, but the same thing holds true even this year. It's a very useful video because it tells you how to prepare for GATE using a very interesting strategy. The strategy is as follows. You should prioritize easy and scoring subjects. By easy, what I mean is not that the subject is easy, but the questions that are typically asked in GATE are easy, right? So you should always prioritize easy and scoring subjects. For example, again, in this video, in Learning Strategies for 50 plus marks, you can just go to our YouTube channel and you'll find this. We have posted it sometime for the last year GATE preparation. Our suggestion is this. First, you should study TOC and CD, the Theory of Computation and Compiler Design. because these are very easy and scoring typically. You should also prepare C, data structures, algorithms, engineering, mathematics, aptitude. Again, digital logic design itself, I'm working with our whole team right now to re-record or to redo the whole digital logic design. We were supposed to start, but we got a little delayed because of the lockdown. But we will do this as soon as possible. So if you want to watch what is currently there, feel free to watch it. But if you don't want to watch, you can delay this subject a little later. I'm working full time. I'm working very actively with the rest of my team to create the notes for DLD. We're slightly delayed because of the lockdown, because I can't meet with people, sit with them, discuss, come up with real world examples and things like that, right? But rest of the subjects, you can just simply follow the order that we discuss in learning strategies for 50 plus marks. It is very important that you prioritize easy and scoring subjects instead of focusing on subjects that could be extremely hard to score marks in. Again, very, very importantly, don't spend too much time on a single subject. We see a lot of students trying to do this. They're trying to become perfectionists, right? So we have seen this. We have seen a few students who start with C programming. They go too deep into C, right? Again, it is good if you can go too deep into C, but the problem here is we have seen students spending like almost a month on C. That's not the right approach, because you have other subjects also which are important. So GATE, to be very clear with you, GATE exam is not hard. GATE is all about the vastness of syllabus. The questions that you typically encounter in GATE are not trivial, but they're not hard. They're somewhere in the medium level of hardness. They're not at all hard, right? So gaining too much knowledge right now is not helpful, because GATE priority is the breadth of knowledge across many subjects. What we would recommend is to go through the content that we have in our course videos for C programming and solve and practice. Again, we have seen another set of students who spend too much time on theory without practicing. That is also extremely bad, because in GATE, you're actually asked problems that you have to solve. So please don't go too deep and spend too much time on a single subject. Your objective is to get a reasonable breadth and a reasonable depth across all these subjects and be able to solve problems. If you want to learn C in depth, you can always pursue this during your master's days. Like I had some friends who would do their master's thesis in compiler design, and they are like the best C programmers I have come across, right? So you have, during your master's is when you go too deep. During your undergrad days is when you gain a good breadth and a decent depth of understanding, and most importantly, problem solving skills. Please don't spend too much time on just a single subject. Now, if you're a repeater student, right? Who is a repeater? Somebody who is taking the GATE exam the second time, right? Very importantly, you should analyze each subject and each subtopic for your weaknesses. You have already taken the GATE exam once, so ask yourself which subjects are you weak in, and within that subject, which subtopics are you weak in. Again, repeaters have an advantage because they're spending more time. They've already gone through all this once, right? So you should focus first on subjects and subtopics that you are weak in. Any subject, any small subtopic also that you are weak in, first focus that. Again, please rewatch any subtopic or any subject that you're weak in. Please rewatch all the videos to gain a better conceptual clarity. Okay, again, people who are repeating the GATE exam the previous time, probably they did not get a good rank because they don't have conceptual clarity, or they're not good at problem solving. One of these two things. So any subject that you think you are weak at, or any subtopic, please rewatch the videos to gain better conceptual clarity. We have seen a few previous year students, right? Students from our GATE 2020 batch who are repeater students. They followed this methodology where every subject, every subtopic, they would list down where they are weak or where they are not comfortable, where they are not at their best. They would first go through all the course videos for a better conceptual understanding, and then they would jump into practice. And we have a few students in the top 50 ranks also who are repeaters from during the GATE 2020 preparation. And these are stuff that we learned from our students, also mentoring our students, also learning about their strategies that worked. This is a terrific strategy that has worked for many repeated students, right? So please don't redo everything. You should start with subjects where you are weak at. Okay. So very importantly, we have some repeater students and also regular students who are skipping videos. Please do not skip the videos. It is extremely important that you don't skip the videos for multiple reasons. So some students are skipping the videos, directly going to notes. Now there is a small problem with this. In a video, we teach you the intuition, right? Again, notes is primarily meant for revision. Everything that we have in a video cannot be written line by line in a revision. So in a video, you learn about the intuition. You also learn about a lot of real world examples. And these real world examples will help you remember and recall the concepts better. And in the course videos, we help you understand how to think. We answer a lot of questions on why. Why is something like this? Or how to solve a problem. Given a problem, how to break it down into smaller pieces and solve it. Again, these are stuff that you will not find in the notes, because the notes have been written primarily with the purpose of revision, not as a textbook. Again, remember that the notes is not a textbook, is not a word-to-word copy of what we have in our videos. That's not possible. Then this will become too cumbersome that you can't revise. It is not a textbook. Your videos are places where you will gain much more intuition, deeper understanding. Why is something like this? How to solve a problem. At a broad level, you learn how to think from the videos, and notes are primarily meant for revision. So please do not skip the videos, right? It's extremely important that you don't. Okay. So if you're an undergraduate student, if you're an undergraduate student who is pursuing your BTech, most likely you're a third year, second semester student, right? So whatever subjects you have in your third year, second semester, because most of your colleges are shut down, please complete the semester subjects that are part of GATE syllabus, so that in your semester exams, you will have an advantage. Instead of studying them from your textbooks, you can just finish them from our course videos. Most of the syllabus that you have for example, let's assume you have operating systems in your third year, second semester. I'm just taking an example. You could read the whole operating system videos from our GATE videos. It will cover most of what you have in your syllabus. So please complete semester subjects that you have in your third year, second semester from the GATE syllabus during this period, so that you're better preparing for your semester exams and also for GATE. Again, since you're a third year, second semester student, most likely you'll have placements the next semester. So you should also prioritize these 4 subjects, because this is what will be the core of placements. Of course, in some placements, people might ask you OAS and DBMS also. So the order I would recommend for you, especially undergraduate students who have placements next semester, please do C programming, data structures, algorithms, aptitude, DBMS, especially SQL, and the basics of operating system, especially concepts like semaphores, etc. Right? So this is what I would recommend if you're an undergraduate student right now. Okay. Very importantly, if you just learn concepts, you will not get a GATE rank. I think I've mentioned this in every session that we do. Very importantly, you should practice and revise. Again, why should you revise? Because the syllabus is so vast that it is very likely that you'll keep forgetting what you learned a few months back. Why is practice important? Because GATE is not about theory questions like some university exams. GATE is all about solving problems. So what we recommend as a first step, I'll give you more details on how to revise. For every 10 to 15 hours of content, take a break, go back and revise everything. It's very, very important, right? I'll give you more strategies for revision in a few minutes. For practice, please do not skip the practice tests. We see some students skipping the practice tests, thinking that, okay, I'll do these practice tests later. No, you will not learn like that. When you learn some concepts, that's why for every 10 to 15 hours of our course content, we have a practice tests. The objective of practice test is to help you understand how well you have understood the content and to help design your revision strategy. For example, you take a practice test, you make some mistakes. It's very common. It's okay to make mistakes. Don't panic if you make too many mistakes in the practice tests early on, right? You still have almost close to 10 months before the GATE exam. You will always improve. We have seen people who performed terribly, who performed very bad in practice tests in the April of last year, who have gone on to get very good ranks because they kept practicing, they kept learning how not to do mistakes, right? So when you do practice tests, you will have mistakes. That's okay. You will make mistakes. For every mistake, ask yourself, why did you make this mistake? Is it a silly mistake? There are 3 possibilities. There is a silly mistake, or you don't know the concept, which means you have made a conceptual mistake, or you are not able to solve the problem. You know the concept, but you're not able to connect the dots. Based on this, you can go back to the video. If it's a silly mistake, make a note so that next time you do not make that silly mistake. If it's a conceptual mistake or a problem solving error, go back to the course videos and the problems that we solve as part of the course videos so that you learn how to solve it. So practice tests are not meant to evaluate. They're not meant to evaluate you. They're not meant to terrify you. They're meant to help you understand what you're lacking, to find your mistakes so that you can go back and revise those. Please do not skip it, right? So as for the tests, some people are concerned that if I solve all the 1,000 questions that I have in the practice tests, I will not have enough questions for practice tests again. It's not so. So we have the 2020 test series with, I think, close to 2,000 questions. And the 2021 test series, we are already working on it. We'll have it ready by June. This will have 2,400 questions. So you have 1,000 questions in practice tests, completely different 2,000 questions which are already present in our 2020 test series, which you have access to. There is again 2,400 questions that we are creating different from these 1,000 and 2,000 questions, which will be the test series of 2021, right? So you have again almost 4,400 additional questions outside your practice tests to practice before the exam. Again, in addition to all of this, you have previous year questions. Don't worry about the number of questions that you have for future practice. Please don't worry about it. Okay. Please do not skip practice tests thinking that you will not have more problems in the future to practice. We will ensure that you have more than sufficient problems to practice before the actual exam itself. Okay. As far as revision is concerned, this is what my strategy is. Okay. Again, this is something that I followed, and this is what many of our teammates have also followed when they were preparing for GATE. And this is something that we learned as a team from some of our toppers, right? From GATE 2020. Sundays, please fix it as revision days. Revise on Sundays. All the mistakes that you have done, all the practice problems, mistakes you have done, all the concepts, your notes. Again, if you don't want to write notes, you can just use our notes and highlight whatever you want, because we are already giving you notes. You don't have to write notes yourself. Please use the Sundays for revising concepts and for revising all the mistakes that you have done in your practice tests. At the end of every subject, please revise the subject and take the subject test. Again, the objective of the subject test is the same thing. Whenever you are taking a test, find all the errors or mistakes that you have done in the test, analyze your errors and correct your conceptual mistakes, and go by rewatching the videos. You should not skip this process. Any test, whether it's a practice test, subject test, multi-subject test, mock test, whatever you're taking, please remember that the mistakes that you make them should help you understand what you're lacking. It should be like a loop that you're constantly learning from. Because in the GATE exam, it doesn't matter how many books you have read, how many hours you have spent. If you cannot solve problems, you do not get a GATE rank, right? At the end of every 3 subjects, revise all the 3 subjects and please take the multi-subject test, and again follow the same thing. Any errors that you make, analyze and correct. Again, this is something that we as a team have seen work brilliantly, both personally when we were preparing for GATE and by talking to hundreds of students who have successfully cracked GATE, right? So it's very important that we follow this. Okay, sounds good. Now, again, I cannot emphasize this enough. Please do not postpone solving problems. As soon as you have, for every 10 to 15 hours of content, you have a practice test. Please take these practice tests. We have close to 1,000 questions as part of our practice tests. As part of our 2020 test series, we have close to 2,000 questions. The 2021 test series that we will publish by June will have another 2,400 questions. So you have close to what? Close to 5,400 questions. And in addition to this, all the previous year questions. So you have ample number of questions to practice, right? So whatever you see in the timeline, you watched a bunch of videos, there is a practice test. Please take that test. Please do not skip it. And again, your 2020 test series, 2021 test series, all the practice tests, everything is accessible to all of our registered students, right? So everything you will get it as part of it. Okay. Very importantly, if you are stuck anywhere, if you do not understand a concept, or if you are not able to understand how a problem is solved, please ask us via the comment section under the videos, and our team will answer your questions in just a few hours. Typically, we are taking less than 4 hours during working hours, right, to answer most questions. If the questions are asked late at night or at some odd hours, we respond back in under 24 hours, right? Our team is working very hard to answer any question wherever you're stuck. It is our mentors who will help you get unstuck. That's our job, and we'll do our best, whatever way possible, to get you unstuck, right? Again, another thing that our mentors have started doing is, based on the practice tests that you take, for every practice test, you get an answer report, right? Which tells you which all questions you got right, which all questions you got incorrect, all of that stuff. Our mentors are also trying to call as many people as possible based on your answer reports, because answer reports for your practice tests give us an idea of what skills you're lacking or where you're lacking conceptually, what are areas that you need to improve on. So our mentors are calling and guiding as many students as possible. Again, we cannot promise that we'll call everyone, but we're trying to call as many students as possible. After analyzing your answer reports, we are calling the students and we are helping them understand how to better prepare, given that we have close to 10 more months before the exam, right? So again, this is how you can leverage what we have. Okay, where are we? Okay, this is how you can leverage most of this lockdown. Again, let's try not to panic. Very importantly, let's try to use this time constructively for learning and do our job and duty as citizens by not going out, by following the government guidelines, right? So let's make the most of this lockdown by learning, practicing, and staying safe and following the guidelines of the government, right? So all the very best. Again, we will keep putting out videos like these. Again, our team of mentors will answer any questions you have. Please do take, I cannot emphasize this enough, please do take practice tests so that we can go through the answer reports and call you based on it so that we can give you some feedback. Okay, see you folks. Hope, again, please, most importantly, stay safe. That is the most important thing. Please stay safe. I cannot emphasize this enough. Please, please, please stay safe and ensure that your family also stays safe. Okay, please stay indoors as much as possible. Use all the precautionary measures. I hope all of you are safe. I also hope all of our employees will stay safe throughout this lockdown and even beyond that.